valley of the Aspe in the western French Pyrenees is one of Europe's last areas of wilderness. Its acres of primary beech and pine forest and high mountain ranges provide a haven for many rare and endangered species, such as the griffon vulture, salamander, golden eagle, and marmot. The Aspe Valley is also home to a creature of the wilderness, extinct in Britain since the 10th century, the brown bear. A small but viable population of 12 bears, the last bears in France, have managed to survive here deep in the forests on the mountain slopes. The valley has an important place in European history. It has acted as a trading route between France and Spain and as a place of pilgrimage for the early Christians. Its lush and fertile plains once supported a population of 20,000 inhabitants, its economy based on traditional farming methods such as transhumance, the moving of flocks of sheep from Alps in the summer to lower climes in the harsh winters. However, the latter half of the 20th century has seen a mass rural exodus, caused to some extent by mechanisation replacing traditional farming methods. There has also been destruction of the valley's ecosystem on an unprecedented scale. Parts of the forest are clear-cut and burned, while tracks are hacked through the remaining areas to provide access for the chainsaws and for wild boar and deer hunters, causing landslides as the mountain topsoil is washed away. Juggernauts, on their way from one end of Europe to another, wind along the narrow road at the foot of the valley, carrying cargoes including toxic chemicals. The valley's wildlife, following the line of the trees, retreats further and further back, higher and higher up the mountain slopes, to areas as yet untouched by human development. As if this were not enough, the 20th century has one last cruel joke to play. The European community plans to blast a 5-mile tunnel under the national park at the top of the valley and turn the narrow, winding RN134 into a 4-lane highway. Traffic is forecast to reach 5,000 vehicles a day, including 1,000 lorries. Work has already begun along a 6-kilometre stretch at the Fontaine d'Escaut, a historical site at the mouth of the valley. Monsieur Jungelas is a local resident.
Et ils ont cassé la roche, comme on peut le remarquer, en escalier.
The works we see here began in July 1990 and lasted almost 2 years. They came and blasted the mountain into steps, removing 360,000 tons of rock. With this, they filled in the river, which they then diverted, and built a completely new road.
Indeed, further up, the valley becomes even narrower. Clearly, the construction of the new road would have devastating effects on the mountainside and the river. One or the other, or both, would be blasted, concreted, or tarmacked over. We asked an expert on the brown bear, Monsieur ecological, professor at Pau University, what the effect of the new road would be on the bear population.
Du point de vue de l'ours, je dirais du point de vue de la nature.
First of all, I must say that it is not solely a question of the bears. The bear is indicative of all species' well-being. But the road, as it is envisaged, seems to me to be incompatible with the survival of the bears.
Building a new road is not the only option available. One alternative exists in the form of a disused railway line which runs through the valley to Conflans in Spain. Although trains still run on the Spanish side, the rail tunnel through to France has been closed since 1970. Monsieur Cazenave-Pierrot, a member of the French Railway Union, the CGT, supports this proposal.
All the merchandise carried by road could be carried by rail. All that's missing is for the trains to carry on through to France.
Furthermore, the cost of reopening and upgrading this rail link is estimated to be 1/10 that of the road project. However, A huge increase in train traffic could have an equally detrimental effect on the bear population as the road. As a result, many question the need for any such development of the valley. Florence Corbier has lived here for many years and is active in the campaign to save the valley from development.
Mais on peut peut-être se poser la question de savoir si la vallée d'Aspe doit absolument devenir...
The question should be asked, must this valley really be turned into a transit route for European merchandise? Or why not just leave it as it is? Must we really have thousands of tons of goods passing through this valley, whether by road or by rail? I would say no to both road and rail.
In fact, behind this whole project lies the EC's plan to build the E7, a new motorway between Bordeaux and Zaragoza, linking Paris and Madrid. This missing link is one of many to be bridged by the EC to provide the infrastructure for the new Europe. In June last year, the EC approved plans for 12,000 kilometres of new motorways throughout member states. In the UK, over the next 15 years, the Department of Transport will spend £20 billion redrawing the map of Britain, with hundreds of new roads threatening local communities and their environments. These include the notorious M3 link through Twyford Down, currently under construction. But people all over Europe are fighting this massive road building programme. In the valley of the Aspe, France has seen its biggest campaign since the anti-nuclear 80s. A rally in May of last year attracted some 3,000 people. There have been many direct actions, occupations of the worksite and bulldozer blockades, backed up by a massive letter-writing campaign led by mainstream groups. Environmentalists have held protests all over Europe, with supporting actions in Paris, Brussels, Bonn and London. In addition, 3 environmental groups, including the local inhabitants pressure group, have led legal battles against the EC and the French government. Maître Blanco, a lawyer in Pau, instrumental in the court cases, told us,
if the European community wishes to be credible in environmental matters, it must stop financing this tunnel and road and order serious studies to be carried out so that the survival of the bears in France is assured. If the EC does not do this, it will be discredited forever in environmental matters.
This combined campaign resulted in a remarkable victory for the protesters. On December the 2nd last year, the French courts declared the road and tunnel works illegal. No environmental impact assessment on the scheme as a whole had been carried out, a statutory requirement under the EC Directive of 1985. The French government, due to overwhelming public pressure, declined to appeal against the court's decision. The battle to save the Valley of the Aspe is not yet over, as the works may still go ahead pending the completion of an environmental impact assessment, but an important victory has been won. A campaign run by local people with the support they generated from environmental groups and the general public embarrassed the EC into upholding a directive it preferred to ignore. The EC has since suspended all funding for the project.